In this demonstration, I'm going to show you how to use a feature of the homepage builder known as advanced branding. Advanced branding is used in instances where you want to have different groups of users seeing a different branding screen within the homepage builder. So this is particularly useful if you have a business which has multiple divisions within it, and perhaps each division has quite distinct branding, and you wish the users within that particular division to see a branding relating to that division. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through a quick demonstration of how we can set up advanced branding, and you will be able to see how this particular user will see a different screen to what has already been configured at the moment. So this screen we're seeing at the moment is one that we've already configured with a background and a logo and some color schemes, and we're going to now change it so that when this particular user logs in, they see something different. So we are using this user up here called HPP demo for this example. So I'm going to jump across here to the an administrator login, and this is where we're going to start doing the configuration. So we want to make sure we're in the settings area again, and we want to be on this branding advanced section. So the first thing we need to do is we need to check this box here saying enable advanced branding. Checking that will automatically enable it. Number two, we need to go and select a folder path where we're going to store all of our logos and background images. So we'll select that option there, and we will go back to the same folder we previously created. You could create your own separate folder here, but I'm going to use the same one that we've created in the past. So this homepage builder folder, and then you'll see within here we've had our logos and our background images we had from our previous demonstrations, but we've also got a couple of extra ones here. This new OS logo and OS background are new images which I've just uploaded for this demonstration. So we will select that folder, and now we've got that folder selected, then that means it's now available for us. So the next thing we need to do is we then use this table below here is where we go and create all of our branding for the different user groups that we want to do. So that what you're going to see is all of these columns that are running across the top here are exactly the same as the options you have in the main branding section. It's just in a tabular format. So we're going to create a new one by clicking the plus sign, and then under ID we just need to give it a unique ID. So I'm going to call this one OS. That stands for one stream. The next thing is the security group. Which security group would you like this particular branding to be available to? So in this list here, I've got all of my security groups. And what I've done is I've created a set of security groups, and I've created one called HPB underscore homepage underscore OS branding, which is the one we're going to use for this demonstration. So the recommendation is when you create these security groups, you want to try and create something that's meaningful. So something like HPB underscore homepage is a good way to identify these particular user groups. So I'm going to select that particular one, and then we go to our drop down and it's asking what our logo is going to be. So that's listing all of the images that it's finding within this folder path that we'd selected previously. So I'm going to go in and pick this new OS logo as my option. What do I want my background to be? I want it to be this OS background 1 option. Next, it's going to ask me what my main background color, text colors, all of those other options that we've seen before in the branding section are going to be. And so we're just going to start typing them. So I'm going to go with some simple ones here. So we're going to have a black background with some white text. The menu background is going to be white, and the buttons are going to be black. So is the text. The tools button color we'll use as transparent. I'd recommend using transparent for most of the time when you're doing a tools button color. And then we're going to use a light grey as the hover color, and we'll leave the two last ones there. We don't actually need those. So we hit save, and we have now created our profile that we're going to use there. So a slight correction there, we did a typo there. We'll change that to black. Okay, now this particular user has been set up. If I go to my system and security settings and I go into my groups, we're going to see there's under HPB HomePage OS branding. So that's when the security groups are created. Okay. Right. We currently don't have this user, the one that we had HPB Home in this list here. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to add this particular user to this list. At the moment, it only has me. So I'm going to come in here, click HPP demo, and hit save. So that user now is now part of that security group. So what that should mean is if we go back to this login screen here, so we're now on I've got the HPP demo user selected here. If I refresh my screen, because this user is in that security group, it has now inherited that branding over what was in the main branding option. If a user is not in any of the groups that it finds within the advanced branding section, it will automatically just pick up the main branding setting options. So that is how you can create different ways of branding your homepage builder based on security groups.